The episode opens up with Lori narrating that everyone is chasing the feeling of the win, but when someone wins, somebody has to lose. She then claims that winning may be about how you look at things. A week before the state championships, Lori hides under the bleachers and prays that she is able to catch a ball for her softball team, the Pickles. She is broken out of her daydreaming by her teammate and best friend, Taylor, who tells her that her turn is up. Nervous and sweaty, Lori makes her way out into the field where she notices her father, the coach, waiting for her. He uses sign language to communicate with her, assuring her that she is going to do great. Already feeling overwhelmed, Lori begins to sweat even more. In her nervousness, she is unable to hit the ball on the first try and gets strike one. Determined to hit the next ball, she swings her entire body but ends up missing the second ball as well. Knowing that she only has one more strike left before she is considered out, Lori once again gives it her all. However, she misses and is struck out without ever hitting the ball. When her father sees this, he pats her head and tells her that she will get it next time. This is when Lori's fear takes shape and forms into a small goose-shaped creature that talks to Lori, thinking back to all of the times that her father had assured her that she would get it the next time, but the next time never came. Although disappointed, Lori tries to make up for it out on the field and tries her best to catch the ball. As she begins to sweat, her teammate Kai manages to catch the ball for her and leads her team to victory. Once the game ends, the coach gathers his little team around and gives everyone high fives, except for Lori. Sometime later, the coach gathers everyone around, offering them drinks and refreshments. In the post-game pep talk, he tells them that they won as a team and that there are no weak links in the team. This makes Lori feel better about being on the team, but she continues to question her skills. Her father claims that they have finally made it to the state championships before giving Kai 3 golden stars for her brilliant catch. Envious, Lori looks at her helmet, which is still empty, without any stars. She assures herself that she will soon get a star for herself. At that moment, her teammate Yuen tells her that she is popular on the internet. When Lori asks him how he shows her a video he has posted on the internet of her trying to hit the ball and spinning around without landing a hit, Lori starts laughing, trying to cover up her embarrassment. Her friend comes to her rescue and sends Yuen away before heading home for the day as well. On their way back home, Lori asks her father if they can practice her catches over the weekend. Despite being busy teaching her sister how to drive, he agrees, and the two of them decide on a day and time to practice. Once she reaches home, Lori turns to her mother, who is a fortune teller, and tells her to guess what happened. Excited, she claims that she had predicted things going well for her. As she begins making guesses, Lori realizes that she did not contribute anything towards her team's win. At that moment, she hears the bell ring and goes out to check, only to find that her fear has followed her home, only this time, it has grown bigger. That night, Lori is unable to fall asleep as she keeps thinking about the state championships that are only a few days away. At school, she practices her catches with her friend Taylor, but struggles to succeed. Desperate, she promises to work harder, and over the next few days, Lori spends all of her free time practicing her catches and swings. One evening, while waiting for her father, Lori comes across Kai, who offers to practice with her. Kai throws several balls at her, and Lori misses all of them. As her fear begins to grow in size again, Lori gives it her all, and to her surprise, she manages to hit the ball and it flies past her, hitting Kai in the face on its way back. As Kai falls, Lori realizes that her friend is hurt and rushes towards her. Kai opens her eyes and tells Lori that she finally landed a hit. However, before they can celebrate it, Lori's father arrives on the field and notices Kai on the ground. He reprimands Lori and takes Kai to urgent care. Feeling rejected, Lori's fear grows and grows until it begins to crush her under its weight. Soon, the day of the state championships arrives and Lori finds herself feeling more unprepared than ever, despite practicing every day. As the Pickles gather in the dugout, the coach tells them that a lot of people have doubted them and that this is their moment to prove themselves otherwise. While everyone is listening to the coach speak, Lori notices that Kai is not feeling well as she rubs her ankle. Her nervousness grows, and along with it, so does her fear. Before she can register what is going on, it is time for her to go out into the field. With her fear weighing her down, Lori makes her way to the pitch and prepares to hit the ball. When she hears the other team members laughing at her, Lori loses what little confidence she has. With 2 strikes right off the bat, the coach stops the game in between and takes Lori to the corner. He asks her if her head is in the game. Knowing that everyone is watching them, Lori tries to tell her father to continue the game. However, he insists and asks her what is on her mind. She ends up confessing that everyone thinks that she made it onto the team because her father is the coach. At first, he does not know what to say, but then he reminds her that the goal is never to be the best, but to try her best. This reminds Lori of why she started playing in the first place and restores some of her confidence. As her fear shrinks, she finds herself ready to bat again. She walks towards the pitch and reassures herself that she needs to do this for her team, for her father, and for herself. When the last ball is thrown at her, Lori closes her eyes and lets go of the bat, causing the ball to hit her. Episode 2. This episode starts off with Frank acting as the plate umpire for a softball game. With his sharp eyes, he manages to call strikes at the right time. During one of the games, he calls for an out, and the Pickles end up winning. After the game, he prepares with his armor as parents and members of the opposing team hurl insults at him. Once everyone leaves, he walks past the Pickles as they enjoy their post-game refreshments. When the coach offers him a drink, he turns the coach down, claiming that he refuses to take any bribes since he wants to be fair with everyone. The next day, Frank, who is also called Mr. Brown by his students, tells them that they have 20 minutes to finish their quiz. As he walks around the class, he keeps an eye out for anyone who might need help. This is when he catches Taylor and Kai passing a cheat sheet around. At the end of class, he tells both of the girls to stay back. Taylor and Kai try to plead their case, but in his effort to remain fair, he refuses to let them get away with it. As he pulls out his lunch, some of the other teachers enter his classroom and invite him out to lunch with them. This is when he notices Monica Park, his ex-girlfriend. This throws him back to the night when she had told him that she was ready for marriage. However, he responded by freaking out and telling her that he was not ready for marriage. This resulted in her ending their relationship. He snaps out of his flashback when he realizes that he had unintentionally turned his friends down. Once they leave, Taylor tells him that he made a big mistake by leaving Monica. He responds by saying that his private life is none of her business, but Taylor tells him that he needs to move on. Frank tells Taylor to leave, but as she leaves, the janitor shows up. He downloads a dating app on his phone and tells him that it will solve all of his problems. At first, Frank is hesitant, but quickly changes his mind after he realizes how lonely he is. The next day, Frank meets a cute barista named Lena at his local coffee shop. Despite feeling awkward, he asks her out for coffee, but she turns him down by saying that she has already had coffee earlier that day. To make things worse, she tells him that she sees him as her younger brother. Embarrassed, Frank rushes out of the coffee shop and goes back home. There, he tries to avoid using the dating app that the janitor had downloaded for him, but eventually gives in and logs into the app. He fills out some of his information before searching for matches. At first, he ignores a couple of women until he comes across one that interests him. When she messages him asking what he is doing over the weekend, he tries to act cool and tells her that he's busy. To his surprise, the woman blocks him and leaves the chat. The next day, the janitor reads his conversation and tells him that it looks like he is not fully invested in it. This throws Frank back to his conversation with Monica, where she had asked him the same question. The janitor snaps him back to reality and tells him to be serious about meeting someone. Later that day, he goes home and reluctantly opens up the app again. This time, instead of writing a boring description of himself, he becomes vulnerable and gets real about trying to be open about experiencing new things. This proves to be a success, as he immediately begins to see several women who are interested in getting to know him. Eventually, he comes across someone who he thinks he is interested in and messages her. To his surprise, instead of making small talk, the woman asks him if he would ever want to be abducted by aliens. Frank jokes around, and somehow, their conversation begins to flow smoothly. When she asks him what he is into, he almost lies about it, wanting to seem cooler. However, he decides against it and goes with the truth, revealing that he reads science fiction novels. Once again, he is left surprised when the woman finds this interesting. Over the next few days, the two of them become closer as they share more things about themselves. One night, she asks him if he is free over the weekend. Frank finds himself hesitant, not wanting to say something that would intimidate her. He chooses not to respond right away. As he prepares for his parent-teacher conference that day, Monica enters his classroom and tells him that she would like to talk to him. Their conversation is interrupted by one of the parents' arrival. Monica leaves the room, promising to talk to him later. Distracted, he turns to the parent and informs her that he has caught her daughter cheating on her quiz during his class. When the mother refuses to believe that her daughter would ever do something like that, Frank finds himself at a loss for words. She then asks him if he knows what he is doing, and this makes him think back to the time Monica left his apartment for good after their breakup. As his armor comes back on, Frank reveals that he regrets making the wrong call. This is when the parent tells him that it is never too late to make things right. Once she leaves, Frank decides to end things with the woman he was talking to on the dating app by telling her that he is still not over his ex and exits their chat. Meanwhile, he rushes to find Monica, intent on apologizing for breaking up with her. The janitor and his students help him find Monica, who is inside a classroom. But before he can enter the room, he overhears Monica claiming that she is officially off the market as she shows off her new engagement ring. Devastated, Frank finds himself lost on the day of the state championships. When Lori passes out after the ball hits her helmet, he shouts out, "Safe," which eventually led to the Pickles winning the state championships. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. Please be sure to check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you soon.